Hi all, this is my Lindy agent for the Academy. So what this is started out as a tracker for my withing scale and has since grown into something that'll track any health data you want to type into it. And with that, I'll continue on. I've got a bunch of different ways you use it. The other important thing I was trying to achieve in this demonstration is using memories. I really wanted to experiment with the memories feature of Lindy. So let's go into test mode here. And what we're going to do is there are several ways we can get information into this agent. New measure, message received, email received, and on a recurring schedule. Looking at our flow editor, you can see that we've got new measure, message received, and email received. These go into this agent step. There's a condition. If it doesn't contain any health information, we do nothing. Otherwise, we continue on. We store it in the agent memory. On a reoccurring schedule at 5 a.m. every day, we wake up and we send our current status as an email. So when we get up in the morning, remember to use the scale and how are we doing in general. And we've got this nice prompt here that tells us how we want to go through and do various things for the agent as far as fitness. And one other thing, we use GPT 4.0 because 4.0, in my opinion anyway, and in the opinion of a lot of people, is a very warm model and a very fun model to interact with. So without further ado, we'll go back into test mode and we're going to do message received. And I'm going to type in what would come from the withing scale, which is weight, fat mass, muscle mass. The diastolic and systolic blood pressure values are garbage out of the scale, so we can ignore those. The heart pulse wave velocity is kind of interesting. It tells you the stiffness of your arteries and gives you an idea of your kind of danger of heart attack and stuff like that. So you're going to feed that in, and it's going to fire off. And so we've got a message received. And it does contain health data, so we're going to keep going. Hopefully, if this goes well, it will add it to the agent memory. I have just, yeah, it did it, good. I have seen that agent memory does some interesting things, and we get a little bit of an encouraging message. The agent says the second agent down here says the task is complete. And it gives us a nice, where we are and stuff like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to lower the weight by a kilogram. I'm going to lower the fat mass by a kilogram, and I'm going to increase the muscle mass by a kilogram. And I am going to run this the same way again. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to tasks, and I'm going to do a new task. And I've got my little message down here, and boom. So that's another way I can kick it off, is using tasks. If all goes well, it did add the memory. And so you can actually see what it added. And we've got our recent measurements. And now we start to see trends. I lost a pound, okay, I lost 2 pounds in fat and I gained a pound in muscle, right? I wish that fast. And the heart pulse wave, it basically says, hey, that's good for arterial health. And then we get a nice encouraging message from ChatGPT basically saying you're making real progress, keep up the incredible work. Okay, so that's, pretty cool. Let's go back over to the flow here. And now I could do new measure withings, which would wait for the withing scale. We're not going to do that because it takes 900 seconds as the polling interview for the scale. And I could also send inbound email. I'm going to leave that as an exercise to the reader. The important one is this timer. This timer basically is going to go out at 5 a.m. every morning, and it's going to produce, hey, what's going on with your health trends? And while it's doing that, I'm going to show you the email that I get. So this is what the email looks like. Okay, so now we've got something that's saying how I'm doing, a little bit of trend analysis, trend information, which direction am I going, and good stuff like that, right? So now I'm going to get this message, which you can see appearing here at 5 a.m. every morning, that's going to remind me to get on the scale. The last thing I can do, which is kind of cool here, is I can go back to test mode, go back to send a message, and now I can do something like my waistline is 44 inches, right? Oh, I typed weight. Let's see if it gets it instead of waist. I love this stuff. I misspell stuff and it still works. It just blows my mind. Let's go over to memories so you can kind of get a sense of this, okay? Of what is going on behind the scenes. This was the thing I really wanted to kind of check out. Make sure to press refresh if you're using the agent, just so you can see the memories. And now you can see the memories, right? So, you know, it knows about my waistline measurement of 44 inches. It knows about my two readings of 97 and 98, so it can develop trends. If I go back over to test, and I go back to here, and I go back to message received, and I go, my waistline, this time I'll spell it right, is 43 inches, and it will pretty much do what you expect it to do. Let that run, and I will let that finish until we get our actual email. So the point is you could track any health measurement, not just withings, that you want to type in every day. You want to track your waistline, you want to track your neck circumference, whatever you want to track, you can type it in as long as you use the same text every time. This is what the final email looks like, okay? And you can see that it's got the waistline trend, it has the fat mass trend, muscle mass, the weight, and the important part in all of this is that the agent is figuring out that I'm entering values. I'm not programming about waistline. Nowhere did I ever declare the concept of waistline anyplace. But the memory is what's figuring out that I'm tracking waistline. And it allows me to track any health measurement I want to track without any additional programming. That is the power of memory. That's what I wanted to show in this agent. Thank you very much.